Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare Live. Real quickly, we go through the chat, read through what everybody's questions are, comments are, stuff like that. Lots of hellos in the beginning, and then question answers all throughout. And I have a special topic of discussion in the middle, and then we'll go back into the comments. So, welcome. Please keep your comments family friendly. All right. I'm going to scroll up to the top. Hey, Dawn's here. Dawn was here early, looks like. So, see you tonight. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. And evening, Katrina. Very good evening to you, Verna. Verna is Vay's place. She is in blue. She's my moderator, and she has a live chat on her channel on Saturday mornings. So if you are into, especially, she lives in an apartment, raises quail and cuy, and does garden and all that. So she's good. Thanks. Verna says that second like, but I think I'd back. I don't know how early Dawn was here. Dawn says, hi, Katrina. Oh, it was first like and just listening to a video while waiting. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. Good use of time. Hi, Erica. Erica's here. Hello, Katrina. She says, and oh, you subscribed to Verna? Hopefully you're subscribed to me too. Oh, and she's claiming third place. All right. You guys are so funny. Vying for first place here. Dawn, I want chocolate. I have tea. I have lemon zinger tea. It's too hot right now. I just made it. All right. Too late for coffee. Oh, Verna's having coffee. I'm not a coffee person. Second pot. Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna put her link for the cookbooks there. She has some cookbooks, quail-related cookbooks. There you go. And Dawn says mid-50s here. I froze this morning going out at 61 degrees when we were 84 yesterday. Yeah, Dawn, you are having some shifts in weather recently for sure. Yeah. Joy's here. Welcome, Joy. Hello, everyone. She says, hello, Joy. Welcome. And Erica's a no coffee either. All right. Just finished a supper of eggs from my backyard. So much better than store-bought. So much better, Erica. Yes. Everybody's saying hi. And Verna's going to make shaved steak and eggs for dinner. That sounds good. Hey, Diana, Title Top Farms is here. Hello from Kansas. Hello, Diana. Welcome. Everybody's saying hello. Oh, Steve wants more likes. 6 waiting, 3 likes. We can do better. we have 12 people and 13 likes. So I think we're doing all right. I think people are either liking what they see or expect that they will. Thank you, Steve. Welcome to the chat. Ed's here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ed. And Steve's going to be back. All right. Oh my gosh. Joy was number 4. You guys are just hopping in here, aren't you? Feather and Shell's here. Hello. Says hey. PJ's here. Welcome, PJ. She says hey. And everybody's just saying hi. Erin's here. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hope you had a good birthday last Monday. Buster's here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Buster. Welcome. All right, we're getting our hellos in here. Oh, Steve is asking, hello, Erin. How's that website going? You get to help Katrina next. So I am working on a website slowly because I didn't work on it at all this weekend because I was doing other things. I have a website, sowandtare.com is mine, but it's not live yet, so it's not going to don't bother going there because there's nothing there yet. I'll let you guys know when it's live. And I'm making it with Wix. And I believe Aaron is also using Wix right now for his. So, yeah, not live yet, but yeah. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's always a lot of stuff to do. That's the I need more time. I need more hours in the day to get stuff done. Joy says, I'm anxiously waiting for my MyShire jumbo eggs to start pipping. Awesome. Good luck, Joy. How close is it? Are you like on hatch day? Is it going to hatch today? Good luck. Erica says, I am. I don't remember what we asked you. But you are. Aunt Rose's Kitchen. Sally O here. Hello. Welcome. If you have any questions or comments or things that are happening around your neck of the woods, go ahead and put in the comments. And we like to have a community setting here, and I have a topic of discussion partway through. Everybody's still saying hi. Popping. Oh, Joy, you might have some popping birds, huh? Pipping birds. Oh, you did. Yes, thank you, Erica. Dawn says, I didn't vie for first place. I just checked the like button when I it notified me so I don't forget. You're funny. You guys are funny. Aaron's name is going to be official tomorrow, so the website should be live by the end of the week. You are awesome, and you apparently have more time than I do. I know you work as well. I work full time and do everything else. But yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Dawn says, Katrina, last Monday you talked about bats. Tuesday, hubby had bats come out of the shutter in front of the house. That was strange. We have bat houses on the antenna tower in the back. I think the bat houses must be full now. I'm going to continue with her thought because we messaged about this. I told her to bring it up on here so other people could hear what's going on. He got the flashlight and shined it up behind the shutter and counted the glowing eyes, but had to quit at 6 to 8 because one flew out right at his face. Yeah, that is exciting. That is very exciting. And I'm going to jump in here and give a little bit of information about bats. I am rabies vaccinated. And if you have a health insurance that covers vaccinations, they will vaccinate you. Usually that's a covered vaccine. And you can tell them, hey, we have bats. Or, hey, I work with bats. Or, hey, I mean, in my case, I was volunteering for a project where we were trapping them. For research, for biology research. And so that's something to know, that you can get vaccinated for rabies. It's a 3-shot series, I think over 5 weeks. And rabies is something that people don't generally recover from that well. And so it's, they do have some stuff that they can do if you've been bitten by a rabid animal. But if you don't do things in time, then it's not a very good outlook. So I'm rabies vaccinated. So there we go. And the other thing about bats is I was going to look up this website before we came on. Just a minute. Western Bat Working Group, I think is. Yes. I don't know about Midwest and East, but this website right here is, what did you say? Western Bat Working Group. It has a lot of great bat information on it. And I don't know how far east it goes, but it has a lot of great bat information on it. It has information about bat houses and about the different structures and what they use and what they don't use and all of that. So if you're interested, if your husband's interested, Dawn, you guys can go on that website check it out. Something about bat houses, if they are using them, that's great. But there are a lot of bat house designs that are not really great for bats, either use in the summer or use in the winter. So they may use them seasonally, but may not use them all the time, or others they would use all the time. But there's some things to factor in, like how insulated is it? Does it get too hot in the winter? So like, is it skinny enough that the sun beats down in the winter and it can get too hot, because that can wake them up in their hibernation? Say is, Dawn, go look and see at the bat house that you have and see if you see guano on the ground, because if there's guano on the ground, they're using it, and that's great. That's really great if they are. And if there's not guano on the ground, it's unlikely that it's being used a lot, but you never know, right? But that is one of the signs, is you're looking for their poop. And then the other thing that a lot of people don't realize about bats, well, two things. One, they roost during the day, right? They sleep during the day and then they feed at night. They also have night roosts. So they'll have a hangout where they chitter chatter and they talk about the day's events. And they have a night roost. And they have a night roost when they eat. So some of them bring a meal to a place that's particular, and they use that place usually every night, or several places to choose from, that they go and eat their meal that they've caught. So it's pretty interesting to look at those, because they're much different than like a bat house, one that they would have at nighttime. And then some bats roost in cavities, and those would be the ones that would be using the bat boxes. And some of them roost in tree foliage, so the leaves. And here where I am, we have two species that I know of, the hoary bat and the western red bat, that roost in leaves of trees. And that is something that people don't usually think about. I'm not sure about the species in the Midwest and in the East, but there are species that do that, and they don't necessarily need like a cave or a tree hollow or, a rock crevice, that they actually do it in the leaves. So that's pretty cool. And then something else is that you have different species going after different species. So different species of bats will eat different bugs. So some of them are moth specialists. Some of them are actually, there's some that eat slugs. There's some that eat Jerusalem crickets off of the ground. So anyway, there's just a slew of information out there. And I thought it was such a great topic, Dawn, that I didn't answer. And I was like, bring it up. So hopefully that gives you a little bit to think about and a little bit more knowledge on bats. And they're pretty cool. They are pretty cool. All right, let's go back up and see what I missed. Let's see. JJ saying hi, everyone. Hi, JJ. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And Ed says, trying to get all my quail eggs and other parts in a row for QuailCon. Had custom shirt, socks, and tablecloth made. You will not miss me unless you are blind. Uh-oh. I saw the picture that you had. Yeah. Yep. I think you have a good thing going, and we'll see you for sure. JJ says really gross about those bats. If we did not have bats, JJ, bats and spiders, right? If we didn't have bats and spiders, you would have so many more insects to deal with. They're good guys. They're good guys. Verna says, all of you with online stores need to post in kitchen for me or PM me your store address so I can have them in my live. Oh, awesome. I don't yet have that, but I plan on eventually having that. Awesome. Good to know. Dawn says to Ed, you must be going to be in fluorescent colors. Almost. Hey, Gidros is here. Hey, friends. Hello. Welcome. Day 18, Joy is on. Yeah, they should be hatching. So good luck. JJ's laughing at Ed. And Dawn says, same thing I said. Bats are very good bug eaters. I love them. Yep. And they are chitter chatterers too. They're like, I think that if there's any species out there that gossips, it must be bats, because I don't know what they talk about, but they chitter chatter when they're in their night roosts. It's so funny. Dinah says, started selling quail eggs at our local farmers market in the last 2 weeks. That is awesome. Awesome, Diana. How is it going with that? Is that all you're selling? Are you doing other things? Are you sharing a booth with someone? Give us the info. That's awesome. Oh yeah, Ed says, let's just say his outfit is going to be unique. Yes, it is Ed, but everybody will know you. Steve says, the more bats you have, the less mosquitoes you'll have. Yep, depending on the species, right? So they do go after different species. There are some bats that forage mostly over water, and there's some bats that forage mostly over land. So they are diverse. People think of bats as one thing. We don't have vampire bats here. They do exist, but they're not in the United States. So that's a different story. Other than that, it's insects and slugs. Little guys. Very correct, Steve. It says, JJ says, the bats are okay if they stay at least 20 feet above my head. Oh, we used to lay out on like if there's a picnic table on a hill, we used to lay down on it because your body heat attracts bugs and probably CO2 attracts bugs, and they would swoop above us and catch the bugs above us. It was pretty cool. But okay, I'm not gonna force you to like bats. Dawn says, and moths. Yep. I wonder if they eat June bugs. They were trying to get in the porch the other night. They might. I don't know all the different things that they eat. I know that there is a species that eats Jerusalem crickets, and those can get like, that big. My parents we always had them. We called them earth babies, the Jerusalem crickets. They're, kind of these ugly alien looking things that are on the ground. And my dad finally put up he's big on game cameras in the backyard and, seeing all the animals. And so he put one up, and he had to actually tape shut part of the infrared because it was too white. But there is a night roost on my parents' front porch for some bats, and they eat Jerusalem crickets. And the reason why he knew to put it there is because there was little yellow legs of Jerusalem crickets in a pile in the corner. I think they just ate the bodies and the legs fell off. So, yeah, they're fun. Verna says, Aaron's store means more work for Christina. Christina's got her hands full. She got a whole garden. Mine things are just starting. Aaron says, Katrina, I do most of my farm computer work while I'm at a regular job. Aaron, I want your job. What is your job? Steve says a bat can consume 1,000 mosquitoes per hour. That is more than a spider. I don't know how much they do, but that sounds like a lot, and it sounds like we need more bats. Don says, I had one get in the porch a few years ago. How to get it off the porch? I told him to crawl on the floor and open the door while I got ready to open the inside door to let them in. Oh boy. JJ says, oh, okay, Steve. Now I'm liking bats a little more. See? And they're oh so cute. One of the bats we did research on was about that big, like head to end of tail was about that big and super cute. You had to warm them up before you let them go again, because they can't fly unless they're warm. So we hold them like this or put them in your pocket with your hand. was kind of funny. With someone that's permitted. I should say that here. You have to have someone who's permitted, and everybody who handles them have to have rabies shots. And you should not handle bats unless you have your rabies shots and you have the appropriate permits. There we go. I did my due diligence here. Erica says, I found about a dozen mulberry seedlings in the backyard, so I'm going to be able to transplant them over to the farm and get free mulberry trees. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome. And there's different kinds of mulberries. You can plant a stick of a mulberry in the winter, or in the, take a cutting in the winter and then get it in the spring in the ground, and you will have that kind. So if you want different kinds, you can grab different kinds as well, or you can graft them onto that, or you can just let it grow and it will be a tree. That's awesome. Free trees are always good. Free trees with fruit is always good. Ed says, anyone else knows she stopped moving, but she keeps talking, or is it just me? Uh-oh. Nobody else is answering. So hopefully it's working. Verna says, yeah. Verna says, yeah, it's just a matter of hours that you have to get treated for rabies, which is why it's good to get vaccinated. Yeah. If you're going to be in situations that, you could potentially get bit. Steve says, Dawn, big brown bats in the Midwest love cucumber beetles, June bugs, and stink bugs. Awesome. I think JJ's liking them more. And I put the Western Bat Working Group website there. And so that's something to check out if you're interested. Dawn says, in first grade, they brought bats in and we kept them in class and got to stretch their wings out and pet them. Interesting. I wonder if those were like from a museum where they probably didn't have rabies. In fourth grade, we came in and there was a bat in the classroom. There was a really high window. I guess it got left open, and there was a bat in the classroom. And so I remember we had class in the hallway, and we had to call, our teacher had to call from the library intercom because the library didn't have a bat next to its intercom. And she was afraid that it was going to start flying all around. And I remember animal control came and they took it and they released it into the canyon, which is where a lot of the bats, a lot of the crevice roosting bats, live. And that was just funny because I remember having class in the hallway in fourth grade for I think it was a day. I think it was like a full day, or maybe 2 days. I don't know. My connection does funny things. Hopefully, okay, I'm not seeing anything else. Hopefully it's okay. I don't know why it does funny things. It shouldn't. Yeah, sorry guys. Dawn says, that is cool. The more the merrier then. PJ's chimes in with, I love bats. Yes, they are great. And Gidro says, ooh, Erica, we love mulberries. They make such a good jelly. They make good everything. Chris, they make good everything. Vase Play says, bats equals mice with wings. I think they do better things than just mice. Okay, so Dawn researched years ago to get special bat houses. Awesome. So maybe they could be working and it could be full. You might be right. You might have to. Mickey Mouse didn't have wings. You are correct, Ed. You are correct. Hey, Landry's Little Farm is here. Hi, Brad. Welcome. Mulberries make good wine too. I wouldn't know that. I'm not a drinker, but I think people do. People make alcohol out of everything. Ed said, oh, they didn't have Red Bull back then. Right. Erica says the leaves make good free food for the goats and poultry too. They will be great even before they're old enough to fruit. And if you would like to grow any silkworms, that's what they eat. I don't know if that's something that you're going to do as a venture, but fun fact, silkworms eat that. Landry says, hey, Vay and everyone, welcome again. Welcome. Dawn says, when we moved here, there were bats up under the vent louvers and we did not want them in the house. So we put bat houses right even with the vent on the antenna tower. Yeah, so you don't really want guano in your attic. You don't really want that in your living space, because that can cause respiratory issues and illness. But if they're outside, then you want them. PJ says, I planted a mulberry trees last year. Those and cherry tree actually survived. Awesome. My cherries, I just saw, are starting to turn red. And I don't even think I have the water on out there. I don't know if I'm going to get fully ripened cherries. I'm going to have to turn the water on a little bit, because if I turn it on a lot, then they could split the cherries. I don't know if you guys know about cherries. Cherries, once they've formed and they're like the mature size, if they get a lot of rain or if they get a lot of extra water that they're not used to getting, same thing works with happens with tomatoes, then they actually split open. And like we had a couple years in a row, many years ago, that the cherry orchards in the area, they just didn't pick. A couple of them did U-picks instead, because it wasn't worth it for them to pay people to pick the cherries, because there wasn't very many cherries out there that didn't split. And cherries, once split, mold very quickly. So yeah, hopefully your cherry is doing well. Dawn says took a couple years to get baby bats up in those 2 bat houses. Aw. Well, looks like they're doing good now. Erica says, I want to encourage Tare. Check out that website, and there may be a link to a similar site. I don't know. Bat people communicate pretty well. And there may be some other links on that website, or you can use that information. I'm not sure how far west the western part is of that. But over here, that's where the go-to is. Dawn says the bat houses have been up since 2009 when we put up the antenna tower. Awesome. Verna says in Toledo, Ohio, at one park, they have tree roosting bats. Yep, that is awesome. So they need dense foliage, dense leaves for that to work well, especially in winter. The winter ones, so like the western red bat here, they have a hibernaculum, right, where they overwinter, is on the ground, and they're finding them in these leaf piles underneath trees. So that's another reason not to rake up your leaves, is you might be raking up hibernating bats. It's better for your lawn or your whatever to just accumulate that nutrition that Mother Nature has given Earth, right? Instead of raking up bats. But every winter you hear something about someone raking up some bats. I don't know if you hear about it there where you guys are in Ohio or not, but yeah, there you go. Erica says, growing up in northern Indiana, we got bats in the attic every year. It's pretty common for especially older houses or houses that are built near existing habitat. Yeah. Dawn says, my house is brick and the shutters are kind of hollow behind them because they are plastic. It's in the shade during summer. The bat houses are as well. Awesome. Steve's jealous of Ed's shirt. Dawn says, that is what we didn't want them to come into the attic. He screened double the vent and put up bat houses for them. Yeah, so there's something that's called humane eviction, and it's basically a one-way funnel, and you do it in non-maternity season and not not over winter. And I could tell you those dates for California, but I don't know about for other places of when that's likely to happen, so that they can get out and not back in. And that's one way to deal with it for an attic space. But yeah, if you have another house for them to go to, that's even better, right? Make it a little more attractive. Verna's offering Ed some eggshells. Joy loves bats. Yes, they're great. JJ's changing her story now. I don't hate bats. I just think they are gross. Oh, they're cuddly and cute and have big nocturnal eyes. Their eyes aren't that big. And they may think you are too, Verna. Oh boy. All right. Don says, I like their furry heads, thin skin wings, which are cool. And that is one of the fastest recovering tissues of mammals is the bat wing. And we would do punches very, very quickly. It's one of the, if not the fastest, it's one of the fastest healing things in the mammalian group. I mean, think about it. They have to fly. If they have to rip a wing, they got to fly to do anything, right? Yeah. JJ says, I'm sure they do, Verna, but they don't pay the taxes here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They keep you safe from bugs. They might be doing stuff you don't know about. Buster says, I will have to check out the bat website. I put a bat house up 2 years ago. No bats. Check it out. And they go through there. I mean, there's links in there and stuff like that, but they go through things to avoid and things to look for and all of that. And yeah, definitely. Sounds like this is a good topic. Good job, Don. It says, oh, you're talking about eggs. Okay. All right. JJ says, I know they swoop. I've had them hit me in the face. Oh my gosh. You must have some blind bats over there. I have not had them hit me in the face. I've had them go right around me, but not hit me in the face. We need bats that eat stink bugs. There may be one out there. I don't know. I've never heard a bat, JJ says, on purpose. We like them. It's okay. My screen keeps flashing white. Don't know what to do about that. I'm hoping that it's done. I don't know. Sorry. It's not flashing on my side. It's plugged in. Hopefully it's done doing that. I don't know. At least it wasn't a mole thrown on you. I thought once target practice, you're a lousy shot. Oh. Yeah. Don't hurt the bats. Diana says, just started with eggs for now. We'll try chicks and meat later. Awesome. Awesome. Wonder. Let's see. I tried. They wouldn't eat them. You tried to feed them. Most bats here are tiny. JJ says we have some teeny tiny ones that are like that big, and then we have some bigger ones, which probably closer to like. Actually, I don't know how big they are. Maybe like that. Tall. This way. Yeah. Dawn is saying I was after a June bug the other night to toss to the quail cage, but hubby got it instead and threw it out the door. Good to know. And Steve is not getting flashes of white. Interesting. Hopefully it's gone. I went in to feed the rabbits last night at nighttime, and the quail that are in under the rabbits, there is a crane fly that attached onto my sock when I went in there, and I kind of flicked it off and shone the light on it. And the quail, man, if you haven't seen quail in hunting mode, they just snap right into it, and they go right into hunting mode. It's so funny. So they got it. Somebody got a snack. I think somebody got a leg, and then somebody got a snack. Yeah. I'm glitching. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Aaron says, I love bats. We don't have many here in South Louisiana. I wonder why. You guys have trees. Maybe not cliffs, but trees. All right. Sue says, that's because your mosquitoes chase them away. Could be true. Could be true. JJ says, I have been to Carlsbad Caverns. They told me to count them as they came out. LOL, there were thousands. Yes, and I think I talked about a bridge last week that we counted 68,000 on. And you don't do that when they come out. You do that when they're settled in, and with multiple people counting. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Dawn is about to order a mulberry tree. Awesome. Dawn, there are several different kinds. So hopefully you've done your research and you know what you want. There you go. Aaron does not disagree with Steve. Oh no, Verna, it's died. Her fig tree didn't come back after the winter. That's so sad. That's so sad. I hope you can find another one that you like. We had talked about different varieties of figs. There's tons of different kinds. Tons of different kinds, guys. And yeah, I'm hoping that you can find a replacement that suits your area. As says Steve, I think Aaron's mosquitoes hunt the bats down there and bite their heads off. Oh, great. JJ says, just put a fence and mulberry trees will start growing on it. So what JJ is saying is that the birds eat the mulberries and the birds sit on the fence and poop and plant you mulberries. I wonder what would happen if you tried to start like an orchard that way and just like put little fences up every time you wanted a tree. I'm not saying this is a realistic thing to do. I'm just saying it would be fun. See what grew. Aaron is bragging. He's sad for Verna's fig, but my fig trees have figs on them now. Mine have figs, but they're very small trees to begin with, and they one of them has some figs, and it's taking a very long time to ripen. I'm like, I want to eat it. Yeah. Don says, no, they were people who got the bats in town and had them in boxes. They probably didn't know about rabies in the 1950s. I would say they probably did know about it. They probably didn't know enough to stay away from things like that. I don't know when the vaccine was made. But yeah. Or maybe they thought, hey, they're alive. They're still alive. They've been alive for a while. They're okay. Berna says, yeah, when I order the next fig tree, I will bring it inside for the winter. Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate that you would have to do that. But I think now that you know, you can get any type of you want, right? Like now that you know you're going to bring it inside, you can get things that maybe don't belong in your area if you wanted to. Verna says, cut off a brand. Oh, and root it for you? Yeah. Cut off a twig. Yeah. Oh, Christina doesn't need more to do. And let's see. Dawn's checking out the link. Multitasking. Oh, I think I must have skipped that one. All right. JJ's also sorry to hear about the fig, Verna. Yeah. It really does suck when that happens. And, whether it's something that you did or didn't do or just nature in general. I mean, I had a Cadota fig and I decided it needed to be moved. Why did I decide this? I don't know. Why did I decide to dig it up? Not when it was dormant? I don't know. It's not how you should do things. And I knew that. But yeah, I transplanted it and it died. And that was very sad because Cadota is a fig that has been around for over 2,000 years, a named variety for over 2,000 years. And it is a yellow fig, which means that the birds don't quite know that it's there. There's green figs and yellow figs that the birds don't know what to do with. So that's always good. Yeah, it is what it is, which, and that's part of gardening is some stuff dies and it sucks, but it happens. And Dawn says, was your fig tree for cold weather? Oh, I read they have to be brought in if they are in pots, though. Yeah. It's supposed to be one, but don't think it was a Chicago Hardy. Yeah. And Don says, I read I need Chicago fig, but if it's not in the ground in a pot, it has to be brought in during the winter. It could be. It could be because it doesn't have the ground to buffer the cold. That could be. Verna says silkworms grow on white mulberries, but the silk from worms on red mulberry is inferior. I mean, if you're growing silk. I have heard white mulberry, but I didn't know the other. JJ says, I was told about what you said about beating the fruit trees. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. Verna says, that is why I plan no matter what type of fig it is. Yeah, to bring it inside. That's a good idea. And be able to move it around. Yeah. JJ says white mulberry leaf tea is good for too much sugar, so it is said. So if you have too much sugar in your diet, to have that, interesting. Dawn, we were talking, it might have been last week or the week before, about, I think it was Andy Rabbit that brought it up. I think it was. About hitting a fruit tree to try and make it fruit. It's stressing the tree. So, yeah, I think that was a couple weeks ago. Why would you do that? I don't. But the thought is that it will stress the tree enough for it to freak out and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I must pass on my genes and have fruit." That's the theory behind it. Yeah. Verna says, QuailCon 2023. There's the link. We're going to be there. It'll be awesome. If you don't have tickets yet, you should get tickets because it's going to be fun. 2-day event in September. Erica says, you beat the trees to knock the berries down. Oh, for mulberries. For mulberries, yeah. You put a tarp down on the ground and you can shake the branches. I've heard of that, yeah. And we're going to put the Facebook page for Sow and Tare. I still haven't done a community thing, but it's there. JJ says, oh, sorry, Dawn, I thought that was you. Supposedly, if you're, yeah, okay, we already talked about that, yeah. Yeah, I think it might have been Andy Rabbit, who I haven't seen today. All right, I got to go back up. Sorry, guys. All right. Dawn says, I only know about shaking mulberry tree branches to get the berries to drop. I read it a couple nights ago. Yeah. Steve, family friendly. Dawn is laughing. Get out your fruit trees like a punching bag then. Yeah, I've heard of it. I have not seen any evidence that it's worked. Nor have I really looked for it, evidence that it works. So there you go. Use a rolled up newspaper, not a boxing glove. Yeah. The same for tomatoes and peppers. Tomatoes and peppers, I've heard of that, and that I think is more to strengthen the stem against wind. I think the same thing can be accomplished with a fan in your greenhouse or whatever. Yeah. Erica says, I grew up harvesting mulberries. We would shake the branches we could reach and smack the higher ones with a stick. Yep. Dawn says, newspaper on a tree. Uh-oh. Had a red maple planted that would not grow, got mad, went to pull it out of the ground and couldn't, pulled hard, and then it grew. It just needed a lengthening. There you go. It stimulates the roots. There's a lot of things that people do to trees. That's all I have to say. Yeah, it's a stress response, Erica. It's a stress response. I have heard of old timer orchardists, I have not heard of this in present time, putting a nail in a tree to try and, putting several nails in a tree to try and get a fruit response. And it's the tree panicking, saying, I think I'm going to die. I must share my genes. I must pass my genes on. Like that's what the theory is. So, I guess my fruit trees are lazy. Oh, boy. Dawn says bat houses have to be a certain height off the ground and a certain direction. Yeah, and there are some bats that need an even higher drop. So if you think about like the Wright brothers, the airplane, right? They tested lots of different things, and part of it is going down and getting the lift. So if you go down and if you have a drop, you need a certain amount of drop in order to get lift. That will take you up. And I think that's probably what's happening is when the bats go out, they have to drop down because they've climbed up into something. They have to drop down. And so it's not like a bird that just flaps and goes up. They have to drop down to start that maneuver. So yeah, it's very interesting. Verna says, love Everbearing and Arkansas Beauties. They taste wonderful. I think all figs taste. I don't think I've had a bad fig. Probably some out there, but I haven't had one. And the plants are starting to recover from the shipping and transplanting. Awesome. I sent Verna some plants, and they're recovering. Yay. Dawn says, ha, my quail love flies, gnats, you name it. Fun to watch for sure. It is absolutely hilarious. I watched them probably a couple weeks ago. There was like a little tiny moth, and there was probably 5 of them that were just going like this, and they were watching it and jumping for it and trying to get it, and then the moth got away. But I didn't say they were good hunters of the flying guys, but the ground dwellers, they're good hunters. Yeah. JJ says, my quail like to pop the heads off of lawn grub. They are good hunters. Thank you, Verna, for putting my affiliate link for Quail University. If you have not signed up for Quail University, I absolutely recommend it. It is Quail University. Right now there is a class up for 101, and that is basically the basics of quail raising. And if you're new to quail, if you're not new to quail, it's a good course. It has lots of information, and even the spreadsheets that come with it that you can use, right? They're not just showing you, it's something you can download and use. That's worth it. So sign up there, and I get a little kickback if people use that link. So thank you for bringing that up, Verna. Dawn says, I'm going to get a dwarf everbearing mulberry tree. Awesome. Verna says, that's cool. Erica says, I have gotten 5 eggs for my quail so far this week. Just banded their legs today, and they were not happy with me. So it may be a couple of weeks before I get too many more. Erica, I hear you. We processed 44 quail yesterday. And so it'll be interesting to see what that So right now I have in the main aviary, I have the Egyptian fees, my share of Egyptian fees, and they have 20 females and 5 males. I'm keeping 1 extra because I want to be able to assess them once they get their pecking order kind of figured out. I want to be able to assess which ones I want to keep. Just having so many in there, I couldn't keep track. So I just kept the biggest ones. And then I did keep one that was a little bit off color and one that's probably a little too small, but has good color. So I'll make that decision later and take 1 male out of the population. So, but I want to give them a chance to refigure out their pecking order first. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. JJ says, my fig just started to sprout from the ground. So does that mean that the upper part died and it's starting over? At least they do that. Dawn says, hubby destroyed the big garden, so I want him to plant a mulberry tree out there. Hey, trees, go for it. Fruit trees, I am all in. Dawn says something he doesn't have to touch, things that will take care of themselves, thinks he kills everything. Oh, yeah, trees are easy. Trees are easy, and you can make it as easy or as not easy as you want. Steve says, put a shock collar on him. If he goes close with the mower, he'll know better. Yeah, if there's a mowing issue, I would put up like a little fence around it, like a little wire fence. JJ says, can't kill mulberry, black walnut, wild grapes, and honeysuckles. No, but you can mow them several times and never get a harvest. Verna says, I pulled out the fig plant and planted the plants you sent. Awesome. LOL. Even the roots were dead. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. Shouldn't have been left outside. That's so sad. Don says he is good at mowing, but if he has to water or prune something, it is toast. Automatic watering, Don. Automatic watering. Don says we had grapes we wanted to get rid of, cut them down, mowing for a whole season, and they kept coming back. Yeah, once they're established, they're established. Don says, JJ, we had, oh, you guys just jumped. Had to get rid of honeysuckle here, and it was hard too. There are certain plants that have really great root system. Verna's cool. I don't know if they're hollering. They're probably squeaking or whistling, right? To JJ, what kind of fruit bushes can hubby not kill? Probably mature ones, right? White mulberry leaf is good for diabetes, is what I should have wrote. Okay. I figured that was kind of the idea behind what you said. And if hubby likes the fruit, he might not try to kill it. Find something he likes. Find something he likes. JJ says, I always have to go behind hubby when he isn't looking and do the right or fix them because he's a plant killer too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And Verna put my affiliate link for Quail University again. Thank you, Verna. There's the link. It says, Katrina, the bat houses are about 30 to 35 feet off the ground, but my shutters where they are out front are 9 to 10 feet off the ground. Very strange. It could just mean that the minimum drop that they need is there, or it could mean that they can climb up on top and have a different flight from there. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, so Dawn can't get out to the garden, so her husband has to do it. So I still think automatic watering's where it's at. JJ says one of my sons was nicknamed Tiller Killer. Some people just some people just are cut out to take care of living things. Yeah. Yep. Hey, Truck 3 Warden's here. Evening all. Just finished up outside. Welcome, welcome. How is your grafting going? I think you were grafting, right? Wasn't that you? Verna says that mama that got saved because she gave birth is telling me now that she needs to go back in line for freezer camp. Is she dumping her water again? Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey, Steve says 110 days till QuailCon. Yay. Yay, yay. And Verna says, oh, I better get back to freeze drying because. So I have been telling you guys that there is, so Harvest Right has freeze dryers, right? I think everybody on the chat at least knows that. Harvest Right has freeze dryers. You start with a down payment. I believe it's $250. And then you pay whatever, whenever, until it's paid off. And then once it's paid off, they deliver it. So I got mine today. Yay. Came on a semi truck into the neighborhood. The guy came out with a pallet truck and put it into the garage. And I haven't opened it yet. But that is very, very exciting. I think I probably won't have time to do anything with it until this weekend to kind of even open it and look at it and all of that. I do need to get a designated plug out there, so I need to get an electrician out there. And so I'm excited about that. I'm going to do, I think my first thing through is going to be bone broth, because I have too many bones in the freezer right now. And I would love to make some bouillon. I just think that's the greatest thing ever, that you can combine like that much space into this much space. So yeah, that's what's going on here. So I'm going to be bringing you guys along on that journey, on that adventure, and we'll learn together. Well, I know some people are on here experienced, but I'm going to go for, that wasn't the topic of the week. That was just a fun little thing. I'm going to go for the topic of the day, and that is I garden in a drier climate. We get wet. Excuse me. We get wet weather in the winter, and the rest of the year is dry in my climate. So I want to hear from you guys. What if you are in a wet climate or a more humid climate, or tell us what it is. Is it wet and humid? Is it wet and not necessarily humid all the time? Is it humid but you don't get rain? What struggles do you have in a wet climate, and how have you addressed them, or how will you address them? So I want this to be not just about what I've done. You guys see what I do. But, like I said, the key is automatic watering. It might not be for where you are. So I would like to know from those people who lives in those areas, what that looks like, what your struggles are in your garden, in wet areas, and how you address them. So while you guys type that and think about that, I'm going to go back up and read through some comments. And let's see. Automatic watering would be great, but someone wouldn't install it either. Oh, might be a hire out thing. Hey, Linda's here. Welcome. She says, yes, can't wait. I'm assuming that's about QuailCon, because she's talking too. Yeah, it's going to be a great, great thing. Verna's talking about her cooey. She makes a lot of noise trying to dump the water. She is just like her mother. Uh-oh. Truck 3 says, haven't seen leaves on the grafts yet, but the trees are just starting to leaf out. Have hope yet. Yeah. Yep. And hopefully it will do well, and you will have lots of yummy fruit. John F. says, good evening. My quail are still broken. They are still not laying, huh? I don't remember what exactly we came to the conclusion of. Was it light? If it was light, it takes a couple of weeks. Yeah, you can remind me if it wasn't, but it might take 2 or 3 weeks for that to kick in once you've put light on them. Verna saying, congratulations. Thank you. Dawn says, is the baby dumping water like its mother did? What she's saying is that the one who just had a baby is just like her mother who dumped water. Yeah. Everybody saying hi. Yeah, so Verna's saying, Dawn, it was the mama that was in line for freezer camp, and you just jumped. hang on. Before she had babies. Yeah. Dawn saying, fantastic, Katrina. And Steve wants to know, did you get the medium or large? I got the large. I was going to get the medium, and I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm just going to do it. And I'm not going to get it for a while. And you guys know I didn't get it for a while. I was paying slowly on it. And I decided, if I'm going to go for it, I'll go for it. And it has a potential financial stream there. So I just decided to go large. So I waited extra time to pay the extra money and went large. And QuailCon 2023, there is the link we're going to put there. I hope to see you all there. Dawn says, old bullion would be so cool. Exactly. And it would take up a lot less space in this tiny, tiny house. And store for a very long time. Erica says, John, if you aren't using supplemental light, they may not lay for a while yet. Yeah, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks once they have the supplemental light to do that. Oh, and Verna, no, I got a large. I did. Linda says, John, my outdoor outlet is broken, so I don't have lights on my quail. They aren't laying. Oh, Linda, you need to fix that. You have them on supplemental light. Okay. Everybody say hi. Steve says, wet, hot, and humid. Sounds like Aaron should be our expert. He might be. Berta says, I may be in a wetter climate than you, Katrina, but I do have to water every night. Okay. Good to know. And pest pressure? Pest pressure? We don't have much pest pressure. There's pretty much aphids, and sometimes things eat the seedlings. But as far as mature plants, it's mostly aphids. We do have powdery mildew, but not a whole lot. Historically, this area got summer fog, but we haven't in a very long time consistently. So, and then we do for the trees, we have peach leaf curl that it's in the neighborhood. All the trees have it, which you can spray copper for, which I have in the past, and that works and you get a better harvest. However, it rained so much this year that I didn't have a dry time to do it. Yeah. John says, Linda, if you were in Florida, I would fix it for you. She's in California. Sweet to offer. Don says, we have wet and flooding until summer, then hot and humid droughts for summer. Hot and humid drought, that sounds like an oxymoron. In my hot, dry summers, I would water about every other night and use straw mulch around most all things. Okay, that works. Erica says, I use container garden and raised beds. Otherwise, I get flooded out. That's a good tip. So if you have soil issues such as flooding, then don't grow in it. Grow above it. I wonder if you could grow things like celery and fennel, things that grow in a little bit more boggy areas in the ground. Might be worth looking into. And Berna says, ever think of getting some solar panels and do like Matt does in Grafted Branch Urban Homestead? So solar panels for your quail lights. You could totally do that. JJ said, humid then earth cracking drought. So water only in the mornings, leaves off the ground, trellises, raised beds, then switch it up to soaking and mulching. Okay. You have kind of like we do. We have wetter winters with dry summers. Like we don't have rain in summer. I remember one time it rained in July. Yeah. Steve says, I'm not jealous on your freeze dryer. You started before me. I put that down payment down a while ago. I know people are like, oh, why doesn't she have it yet? Because I'm putting money elsewhere. Oh, I surprised you by getting a large? Verna, I have plans. And I'm hoping that at some point I can have it be somewhat of a moneymaker. But that's in the future, not right now. I have to learn everything first. Truck 3 Warden says, I have ground cover, which makes it possible to get into the garden when it rains a lot. That's a good tip. Have 3 raised beds, which run on the dry side, but have water system when it doesn't rain enough. So you manually turn it on, right? You don't have a timer. Yeah, that's a great idea. Don says to JJ, perfect description. Our dry equals cracks as wide as your finger. JJ says, yep, Don, those cracks remind me of the cracks up in the Rockies. Afraid I'll fall into one. Oh. Erica says, I have very heavy clay soil, so I don't get good drainage for trying to plant in the ground. Yes, I have heavy clay soil as well, which is why I have raised beds. And the raised beds that I have in the back, you guys might not realize how deep they are, because the wood chips are high. So the beds in the back are raised, and they're raised. So the brick stuff that I use, it's urbanite. It's from my park strip. Some of my neighbors' introduction to me was me jackhammering up the park strip. Welcome to the neighborhood. But that's what it is the park strip. And the park strip is about that thick, and there's 3 layers. So the beds are probably about that deep, even though it only looks like it might be about that deep because the wood chips are so high. So yeah. Yep. Let's see. John wants to know if I'm in California. Yes, I am. I am in Zone 9, planting Zone 9B, about half hour south of San Jose. So that is where I am. Steve says, we have hot and humid, but in the Delta, so have decent moisture, not too wet. We didn't have drought like most of y'all got last year. Yeah. Yeah, last year was drought. This year we got rain. We got lots. Linda's responding to John. Oh, that's so sweet. I wish you lived closer. I would totally take you up on that. John, you might have a free trip to California. Maybe not free. Yeah, Verna's saying Matt has a quail shed and it is run by solar lights. I think that is perfect idea. Perfect idea. And she put a link to his channel. JJ says, first thing I would freeze dry would be ice cream. I'm impressed as a kid with that space food stuff. I have had that, and I remember having it, and I remember it being good, but I don't actually remember like that at all. but I know I've had it. It's not an immediate need. So I do, however, have lots of bones in my freezer. So that's more of an immediate need. But I do want to try some fun things. Yeah. Erica says, I'm still working on building variety into my garden. We are just getting started on the new place. Awesome. Awesome. For variety, what zone are you in, Erica? I don't remember. There's a lot of things you can do for variety. There's a lot of different unique berries and vines that you can do. I just don't remember what zone you're in. Planting zone. John says, big money, Katrina. You know, the thing is, you can start small, pay on it until it's done, and then go back and you're done and you have it and you can use it. So yeah, you don't pay it all. You can, but you wouldn't pay it all up front unless you really have the money and really go. So yeah. Verna says, Katrina, I have the things for vining plants that go on the green stalks. Awesome. I did not get those because I'm not planning on planting kind of the bigger vining things, but I don't know anybody that has them. So let me know how they work once you get it all. Once you get it all figured. It says, cool about Matt's place. Thank you for the link. Yep. He's one of my buds. Tell him I sent you. Yeah. Burn is good, buds. Linda says, thanks for the tip about solar lights, Verna. Yeah, solar, I think, especially, you're in California. I don't know. I think you have sun on your place. I don't think you're all shaded. That would be a good thing to do anyway is to just put some solar and hook up. I mean, it could just be an extender too. So something extends the day, not like a whole battery system. Yeah, it doesn't have to be big. Verna says, do bulbs. That is funny. I'm probably not going to do candy anytime soon. But I will for sure be doing all sorts of things. JJ says, everyone needs freeze-dried ice cream. It's like chocolate. It's a necessity. It can be. It can be. We'll get there. We'll get there, JJ. Verna says, I always have that at QuailCon. Erica says, Zone 8, we are going to build a greenhouse for stuff that grows in 9 or 10. Awesome. Awesome. There are kiwis that you can plant. There are kiwis you can plant. There are, I think there's passion fruits that you can plant. And trying to think of other things in that zone. Because that's not that far from me. I'm in 9B, and so 8 is, like one zone up. But you can plant a lot. Curry leaf tree is something that you might have to have in a greenhouse, but if you enjoy curry, that's one to get for sure. Yeah. That's variety for you. John says space ice cream. Yep. Matt is in New Mexico. Okay. So he has the dryness and the sun. Yeah. Verna says, do all your bone broth, Katrina. Do all of it? Yeah, there's a lot of bone broth that I already have in jars. I'll probably just keep those in jars and use them. I'm planning on making some soup soon, so I'll for that. But yeah, it's going to be a good thing to have this freeze dryer for sure. John says passion fruit is a weed here. Yeah, you're in Florida. You have moisture. Hopefully it's good passion fruit. There's some passion fruits that are way too sour, in my opinion. But yeah. Kiwi is on the way, Erica. Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. Hopefully it grows well. Kiwi is something here that I'm kind of wondering if it's just the location that I have it in. Now, I don't know. The water shut off last year, and I didn't realize that it had been off, so I lost some things over there. But for a long time, the males, because most kiwi, I understand that there are some kiwi that are not male or female, and they work, just one. But most kiwi are either male or female, and my male was growing great. I've gone through 3 females now, and I'm wondering if, because I have it raised, I'm wondering, and it grows fine. But then I'm wondering if the roots get to the soil, if there's something wrong with the soil itself, because then it just dies. So I'm wondering if that's just a contaminated area of the yard or something. I don't know. Yeah. Erica says, I have a notebook full of plans for the next 5 years. I'm sure you do. But hey, we might think of something that you haven't thought of yet. Fun stuff. Hey, Andy Rabbit's here. Hello. Welcome. How's everyone doing? We are doing great. We talked about bats earlier, so if you're interested in that, rewatch. We talked about my freeze dryer today, so I'm excited about that. And topic of discussion is, if you are in a wet climate, what struggles do you have with gardening, and what are your solutions for that? Yeah. 2 pages of seeds and plants to buy. And yes, kiwi does well here. Awesome. Dawn's night. Good night, Dawn. Thank you for joining, and thanks for starting the bat conversation. John says there is a wild kiwi. Interesting. I did not know that. Is it wild or is it feral? Is it something that has naturalized from somewhere? Because I don't think kiwi's native to Florida, where you are. Yeah. Everybody's saying good night, Dawn. Andy Rabbit says, I'm trying to figure out to dry my yard out. so it's too wet and flooded. I don't know. Raised beds. I initially started doing wood chips in my yard, not thinking, oh, this is going to make great compost and have great biodynamics and all of that. I initially started it because I had mud. And I knew that people had done wood chips and that they work great for pathways. And that's what I did. And it fixed my mud problem. And what's interesting is wood chips do hold on to water. So if you're in a wet area, you might not want to use wood chips around your trees and stuff like that, like I do here, because it may hold too much moisture, or have just the right amount of wood chips. It does act like a sponge. So yeah, interesting issue. But I would say, as far as drying out the yard, wood chips work. Yeah. Erica says, I'm not saying don't mention things. You have no way of knowing what I have in mind, and you may well mention something I haven't thought of. Like curry leaf. I don't know if you've thought of it or not. Dragon fruit. That's going to go in a greenhouse. Yeah. Awesome. Verna says, Katrina, someone could have eaten some kiwi. It sprouted from what they threw away. John says, wild kiwi is small and doesn't need a male and female. Interesting. I would like to know the origin of that to see if it's something that naturalized and evolved, or if there was some plant of course there could be some plant I don't know about. I'm not all knowing in plants. Yeah. JJ says, I do a mini irrigation type garden. Pathways are sunken. Extra dirt is piled up onto the beds. It helps during flooding. That is a great idea. Okay, Erica already knows about curry leaf. It's a good one. Yep, it is. Andy Rabbit says, I went to go get some wood chips the other day. It was too wet for me to get down to the wood chips. Oh, okay. Papaya grows very easy here, John says. Papaya is something that I have heard you can grow. I have heard of people growing in Arizona in my zone. I don't know anything more than that, because the only thing I like about papaya is the seeds. So I'm not likely to grow it. I mean, people do eat it green though, and I haven't ever had that. So I don't know what that tastes like. Yeah. Dragon fruit's already there. Oh my gosh, Erica. No, I mean, like you mentioned it and I hadn't thought of it. Oh, not that you like curry leaf. Yeah, curry leaf is a really good one. I mean, I don't know where this grows. I looked it up at one point when I was looking for stuff for my yard and didn't realize that it was a tree. But if you want to grow cloves and make a clove company, that's a tree, and it's a flower bud. I have no idea where it grows. Yeah, there you go. Verna says seeds are good for meat tenderizer. Oh, the papaya? I didn't know that. I just know it tastes very similar to nasturtium, which I also like. And I'm not going to buy a papaya for the seeds. It's just something that if other people have it, they usually don't know that they're edible. But they are. They are. Yeah. So we haven't heard about any pests. It's mostly water issues that we're dealing with, huh? Are there pests in your guys' regions that are answering when you have wet areas? Erica says, I save papaya seeds to grow. Keep us in the loop with that, because I think you can get from seed to fruit in 1 year, right? For papaya? Or am I thinking of something else? I think I'm thinking of papaya. Yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff you can grow. And stuff you might not think about. I mean, pineapple guava. Look up that one. Pineapple guava. It's also called fijoa. I don't remember how to spell that. But pineapple guava. Pawpaws are great to grow. Yeah, pawpaws, if you're not in they're an understory plant. So I planted some from seed in the front, and they're growing. They're alive, but they're not growing very quickly. And I think it's just the wrong climate. I think they need to be kind of a bit understory. I'll use papaya seeds like black pepper, Erica. That is a great idea. It only takes 1 year. Wow. That is amazing, isn't it? I mean, the seeds are big, but they're only that big. Yeah. All right. So you guys are mostly dealing with flooding when you garden in wet areas. Not the pests, huh? Pawpaws don't grow in Florida? I thought they would there. Mangoes grow there, right? I'm just relating them because they're like, both tropical fruits. Truck the Warden says, I have aphids, potato bugs, grubs. 1 year I had asparagus beetles and have flies that lay their eggs in raspberries. That's so sad. Also have downy mildew in the grapes. Hopefully you have solutions for those. So the aphids, I know we have aphids, but we have a plethora of ladybugs and ladybug larvae here, and they chow down on the aphids. They really do. And I didn't bring them in, like they just arrived. But I keep things like the yarrow and the marjoram, and they were on the asparagus a few years ago, that they actually do their little, I don't know if it's called a chrysalis when it's a ladybug, but when they do their change, their pupate, yeah. And they stay around. Erica says pawpaws are wild around here. Awesome. I knew they were in the east. I didn't know how far. I didn't know what the range was. Steve says, yep, a pawpaw flower can flower in 4 months and fruit within a year, 7-10 months. Yeah, my pawpaw trees are, this big, and I planted them in 2019 or 2020. So they're not big. I mean, the goal was to get them big enough to graft onto, and they're still pretty small. So yeah, not in the right place, I think. Berta says pawpaws grow in this area, probably not in other areas. Kentucky University has studied them. Kentucky University has studied a lot of plants. Yeah. Erica says slugs and aphids. Yeah, slugs. I used to go out every rainy night and pick snails and slugs off the garden. And I would pick like a full, those like yogurt containers, like they're 4 cups. I used to pick at least that many every night in rainy nights. As soon as I put the wood chips out, every once in a while I'll see them, but I actually haven't seen a snail in the yard in a very long time. So I think that fixed it somehow. I don't really know what happened with that, but I don't think they like the wood chips. Yeah. Truck 3 says, the only one I have fixed is the raspberry flies. There is a spray, but I don't care to do that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're spraying the food. Depending what the spray is, you don't want to eat it, right? John says, I have the stupid armored white bugs. I don't know what that is. Armored white bugs. Hopefully you have a way to stop it. Oh, you haven't fixed the raspberry one. Okay. Aaron says, I'm getting hungry with all this fruit talk. Aaron, you haven't shared your pests. Are you in a wet area? And what pests you use and how you fix it? I know your counterpart just did a video on some of them. And I know some of it. But yeah. Erica says, I think pawpaws are an escaped invasive. Pawpaws are native to New England. So that's all I know about. I don't know the range. I just know that that's where they're native to. I don't know how far from there they're native to. But they do spread. Is my understanding is they can spread underground. Is my understanding. Steve says, Aaron, go pick some fresh vegetables. I'm not jealous. John says, there are so many mango trees here loaded with green fruit. Isn't green mango a cooked as a vegetable as well? Did I just make that up? I know papaya is. JJ says, I have big fat garter snakes that seem to be keeping the slugs down this year. Interesting. Well, keep them around. Keep them around. They're friends. Yep, and like Verna says, garter snakes are your friends. So are king snakes. Yep, king snakes eat snakes. So there you go. You squish the armored white bugs. Hey, if you squish the armored ones, that's good. Something else that I do for aphids, you guys might have seen the short. I had a ladybug larva on me in the car. I don't really know how. I mean, I must have brought it in, or maybe Manuel brought it in. I don't know. But I felt it crawling on my leg. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I actually brought it over to a spot where it had some aphids, and it just started chowing down. Something else that I'll do is I'll pick off a leaf. Like if there's one that's just like covered in aphids, I pick off the leaf and then bring it over to the quail, and the quail will they'll get rid of the bugs before they have any of the plant. The chickens will do that too, but they're not as honed in, I feel, to the aphids as the quail are. Yeah. Verna says they're native in this area too. Okay. Erica says we get snails here, but don't have much problem in our garden because they are a favorite of the pack rats. Well then, one pest at a time, huh? Erica says I'm currently in Oklahoma, about half an hour away from the Arkansas farm we are fixing up. Oh, that's pretty close. That's nice that you're able to do that so close. Verna says king snakes love poisonous snakes for dinner. I think king snakes like any snakes that fit in their mouth. Steve says I can't tell one snake from another, and we have rattlesnakes, so I stay clear. That's smart. That's smart. And rattlesnakes don't always rattle, so that's something good to know. They don't always rattle. Aaron says we have all the pests: caterpillars, slugs, snails, squash bugs, leaf miners. Honestly, I'm not as well versed in the garden pest as Christina. She did do a video recently. We do get leaf miners, but not to like a huge problem. I feed those to the birds. Zucchini and beets. I think that's all I've ever seen it in for leaf miners. I think. Yeah. Truck 3 says, had an invasion of the white grubs last year and caught a fox on the game camera digging up the lawn to eat them. Then I caught the hound dog digging them up to eat them. They must be tasty. You might want to try them. Yeah, so grubs are kind of a funny story. My grandma, where her house was, it was basically in the hills, but like you try and have a lawn, but it's shaded. So like part of the lawn is moss and another part is lawn. And she had her lawn redone when I was living with her. And, they come and they roll it out and they, pat it down and said, okay, it's a lawn. Well, every morning the edges were rolled up, like someone went out there in the middle of the night and rolled them up. And we're like, what the heck? So I would go out every day and stomp it down. Like, it's never going to take root if this happens. Finally figured it out. The raccoons were rolling it up and getting the grubs underneath the little carpet, underneath the little rug. They would leave it rolled up. It was really funny. Yeah. Britta says, we get earwigs here too. I'm allergic to their bite. That is unfortunate. We have earwigs here. I've only had them be an issue once, and that is when one year they just decided to eat at the very attachment point, the very top of the desert gold peaches, and they would just take little tiny bites right there, and then the peach would fall, and it wasn't ripe, and it was annoying. Yeah. So interesting things, pests. Yeah. So I hope that was a good conversation. It looks like people participated in that, which is nice. Like to hear about what other people are doing and what other people are, what other people's issues are in the garden and where they grow and all of that. Like Erica said, it's like I have clay soil. So clay is a soil that has the ability to hold on to a lot of nutrients, but it also has the ability to hold on to a lot of water. And you don't want both. You want, some nutrients and some water, not a whole lot of water. So there's amendments that go on. You do raised beds and let some roots kind of be of a snorkel above that ground, and then have tap roots go down. Yeah. So it's different stuff for different places. Truck 3 says neighbors had raccoons rolling up their field to get to grubs. No one believed me about the fox until I had the pictures. Yeah. Yep. Erica says, I found a small patch of wheat, about 24 stalks that were planted by my chickens last year in their temporary pen. I'm going to save the seed heads and start a small field. Awesome. It's going to be very small, but that is awesome. Yeah, volunteers are great. Volunteers are so great. I don't know if you guys saw the video from today, the weekend review, but the beet that I've been keeping track of is way taller than I can reach, and it's incredible. And that one's not getting water at all, not getting any extra water. At least it probably still has water in the wood chips because wood chips hold water. All right. Well, Mama Quail or Nana Quail is doing good. She's back to laying. She's laid 3 days in a row. So I guess she's still productive. But she is so cute with the babies, and she definitely reprimands them and starts yelling at them if they're peeping too much. And these are the quietest babies that we've had since she's been in there. It's amazing. It's amazing. And Verna put a link. I'm guessing that's the link to the brooder Nana, the quail Nana. Watch the video if you haven't. It's pretty cute. Very fun. Very fun. And so we're going to have more eggs going into the incubator, and she'll have another batch, and hopefully she'll do really good with them too. Yeah. Erica says, it will grow. Remember my 5-year plan. Right. So you have 5 years to make this batch is what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's the link to the week in the review where they can see the big beet. Yeah, it's huge. And like I said, I'm not watering it at all. And it's huge. And as long as it keeps being healthy, I'm going to just let it seed and see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I encourage you guys to have volunteers, let things go to seed, see what happens. It might not work. It might be that it's not a great place for it to grow, or it might be that, wow, this is the best thing ever. It's a great way to acclimate your seeds. So the only ones that will grow are the ones that want to grow, right? You're not forcing them into that environment. You're just letting them grow. And then you save seeds from those and let them grow. Or you just let it continue. You let some go to seed, and then you have a continuation. That's what I've done with the beets in the yard, is I let several of them go to seed, and I always have beets, which I generally only eat for the greens. I do like beets. I like pickled beets, but I generally only do the greens because it gives you more food. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we talked about a lot of different things. It looks like comments are slowing down. So let me know if you have anything else you want to talk about tonight. We talked a lot of stuff here. I don't think we had as many categories as last week. I don't think we can beat that. If we do, we're going to be on forever. We had some good conversations here. It's good. Give it a couple minutes to see see if you guys have anything else you want to talk about. Yeah, so I expect that the quail nano will be good with the next batch as well. And we do have some more quail to process from the raviary. Raviary is rabbits and quail. At some point. I don't know when that's going to happen. It might not happen till later. Next weekend, the rabbits have a date with the cooler, so they will the inside the screen and porch one the double hutch. So yeah, we're gonna be busy next weekend. That's a plan. Plans can change, but yeah, that is the plan. Verna says, I have to do a bunch of videos. I have one on my new camera that I need to post. Awesome. Verna, you're going to have so much fun with that. Now, camera is so much easier than dealing with a phone. Yeah, camera is so much easier. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it good and have a wonderful night. And yeah, get out there, get gardening, get quailing and all of that. What do you call a quail goat combo? Oh my gosh, Erica, we got to come up with a name. What do you, are you growing your quail with your goats? Do you have your goats under your quail, or are they existing together? My cages are in the goat pen. Goat pen. I don't know. You got to come up with something fancy for that one. I came up with raviary because it's rabbits and aviary, and there's always a party in there. I don't know. You got to come up with it and tell us. Linda's saying, good night, my friends. Good night. I'm going to sign off here. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I always enjoy talking to you guys. Makes my Monday go quick. Enjoy the night and enjoy the week, and we will be back here next Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll see you then. All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.